This is what's for dinner. So come on back and watch me put this wonderful recipe together. I'll see you in a little bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel today. And we are in the kitchen again because I'm going to be making another recipe for you. It's a kind of a casserole. And I found this recipe in I'm assuming a magazine. Let me show you. Here's the recipe. So I found it in a magazine. I've had it for a while. The name of it is called Potato Pot Pie. And it does call for a lot of ingredients, as you can see here. And there's quite a few different steps. Now, I've never made it before. Don't have any idea how it's going to turn out. But it looked really good and sounded really good. So I thought that I would try to do it and make a video for you guys to watch. So first, let me tell you the ingredients. I'm going to leave this down here because it's real small print. I have trouble reading it. The first thing you're going to need is 8 ounces of mushroom. Now, I didn't have fresh mushrooms. So what I did was use canned mushrooms, and I drained them really well. I'm hoping these will work. And then it calls for 1½ cup plus 2 tablespoons of Miracle Whip. Now, when y'all measure out this stuff, you need to measure it separately, independently, because you use each thing separately in the recipe. So here is the 1 cup of the Miracle Whip. Here is the ½ cup. So you'll need to measure it out like this. And then, of course, your 2 tablespoons will be by themselves. Then you need 2 cups chopped cooked turkey or chicken. Now, what I did on the chicken was I had these kind of chicken pouches that I got through my food bank. And it calls for 2 cups, which is 16 ounces. Now, these are 10 ounces, but they're packed in water. So I figured maybe the water would make up the difference on it. And here's what that looks like. That's just in case any of you have gotten these pouches before from your food bank. You can use these, I'm hoping. I don't know. I'm hoping it'll turn out. Like I said, I've never made it before, and I've definitely never made anything with this. This is the first time I've using this chicken. You need 1 package 10-ounce frozen mixed vegetables, thawed and drained. Now, I only had a 12-ounce package of mixed vegetables, so I'm going to go ahead and go with that. Be a little bit more vegetables, but I think it'll be sufficient enough. Then you need 1/4 cup chopped onions. And I piled it a little bit more over because the part that I cut off to chop up for onions was a little bit more than 1/4 cup. But I went ahead and put it on there because I like a little onion taste. I think that'll be okay too. As you guys can tell, I'm kind of improvising this recipe as I go along. Then you'll need 1/4 cup of flour. Regular flour, not self-rising. And then you'll need 1¼ cup of milk. Now, I looked at the recipe, and for the milk, you don't have to separate it. You can put your whole 1¼ cup of milk in one container. You don't have to separate the 1 cup from the 1/4. Then you'll need 1 teaspoon dried basil leaves. I have these here. And 1/2 teaspoon each of your salt and your pepper, which is that. Then you're going to need 1½ cup, 6 ounces of cheddar cheese. And once again, you'll need to separate your cheeses. So you have your 1 cup of cheese here, and you'll have your ½ cup of cheese here. And then the last thing it calls for is 2 cups of hot mashed potatoes. Now, these mashed potatoes I made a little while ago, so they're not hot. But if I need to make them hot, I can always stick them in the microwave. So that is all the ingredients. And now to prepare it, I have to take it over to the stove and start cooking it. So let's get started on the cooking. Okay, here we are at the stove. And the first thing it says, you need to cook the mushrooms and the onions in 2 tablespoons of dressing over medium-high heat. So I'm going to go ahead and put the mushrooms and the onions and the 2 tablespoons in here. Here's the onions. Here's the mushrooms. And I'll get the Miracle Whip. And that's the Miracle Whip going in there. Now I need to light my burner. Cook mushrooms and onions in the 2 tablespoons of dressing over medium-high heat. All right, let's try that. I've never done anything like this before. Mushrooms and onions cooked in Miracle Whip. But I love Miracle Whip, so I'm hoping this will be a pretty good deal. It doesn't say I have to stir it, but I'm just kind of stirring it a little bit. Smells quite pleasant. I never would have thought about onions and mushrooms smelling good cooked in Miracle Whip, but it actually has a really good smell. Smells pretty good. Look a little bit more. The next thing you're going to add is your flour and your seasonings. And I've already brought these over here, but I'm going to wait for this to cook a little bit more. If it was fresh mushrooms, you'd probably have to cook them till they're soft and tender. So I'm assuming that's the same thing, even though these are canned and they're already kind of soft. I'm going to cook them a little bit. At least let them get heated all the way through. I didn't feel very good when I got up today, so I didn't get dressed to even do this video. So I'm still wearing my nightgown and my house coat. Now you're supposed to add your flour and your seasonings. So we have our pepper, our basils, and our salt. Stir that around a little bit. Then you gradually add in your milk. So after I get all this stuff coated really good with the flour and seasonings, I'll start adding the milk. Grab a little bit of the milk in there. A little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. And the rest. And stir it until it starts thickening. Kind of like when you make gravy. Here's what it looks like so far. And it is starting to thicken up pretty good. All right, I think that's pretty thick. I'm going to set it over here while I read the rest of the directions. Okay, then after it gets thick, you're supposed to stir in the 1 cup of the dressing with the turkey and vegetables and 1 cup of cheese and cook for 5 minutes. Stuff over here. Okay, first we're going to put the Miracle Whip in. Then I'm going to add my cheese. The 1 cup. You add the 1 cup at this point. And then I'm going to add my chickens. This is pretty much the base of the whole recipe right here. The last thing that I have to add is my vegetables, which are right here. But I want to kind of stir this around a little bit, because when I get them vegetables in there, it's going to be even harder to stir. The vegetables. Ooh, this looks good. It's very pretty. I love making colorful dishes, bright and colorful. The only color missing from this is red. Some red bell peppers in there. All right, and then after you get all this mixed in, you're supposed to cook it for 5 minutes. So I'll come back in 5 minutes and let you see the results. Okay, the meat and the vegetables have cooked for 5 minutes. So the next step is to put it into the casserole dish. And once again, I'm using this. I hope it doesn't overflow because it looks like a lot of stuff. And I still had to put this in there with it. So here we go. It looks like it's going to overflow. I'm going to take some of it out. Okay, then the next thing you do, you mix the 1/2 cup of the Miracle Whip with your mashed potatoes. This over the way. They sure like using that Miracle Whip, don't they? These are also instant mashed potatoes that I got from my local food bank. And I generally make these with the dry powdered milk that I get from my local food bank. But I didn't today. I had a 1/2 gallon of milk in the icebox, so I used that. All right, now after you get this all mixed together, it says top the casserole with the potato mixture and broil until golden. Still got another little step. Okay, here's what it looks like. Topped with the mashed potatoes. Very full all the way to the top. Now you're supposed to put it under the broiler and broil it to golden brown. So let me do that and then I'll get back with you. Okay, this part's done. I got it as golden brown as I could because I was afraid to leave it in there much longer and burn it. Plus I'm having trouble with my stove. My broiler pan is sticking when I spray it with WD-40, I guess. Then the next thing is to sprinkle the remaining cheese and then broil it again till the cheese starts to melt. So let's do that. Ain't gonna stick very good on these hard mashed potatoes. I'll mostly put it in the center, I guess. I have to try to get this back in the broiler. I'm out of breath because I had to jerk it in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, cram it in and out until I got it to go back in because I didn't want to have to call my landlord to come over and fix the stove. All right, then you put it back in and do it till these start bubbling. So I'll get back with you when the bubbles come. Well, that didn't take very long at all. It bubbled right up there. Let me lift it up. bring it to the camera so you guys can get a better look at it. So that is how you make potato pot pie. I'll bring this over, give you another better look at it. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for coming. And y'all come back and see me anytime. Bye for this one.